We have one more just joining us. So welcome to our class today. We are going to be talking about Google banners and some interactives that you can create using Google Drawings. So if you click and open up our participants panel, if you already know about Google Drawings, can you give me a yes? And if you want and you don't know about Google Drawings, give me a no. Maybe you've used it before, roughly. I mean, you've been in there. And so Caitlin's given me a nope. She hasn't used Google Drawings. Same for Jackie and Johnny and Julie. Wow, you guys. Okay, so Google Drawings is a very useful tool. You'll be surprised how much you can do with it. Wow. All right, I'm waiting to see at least one person in our participants panel who uses Google Drawings. So we're finding that this is going to be very new. Yeah, and Brooke, so maybe you guys have heard of it, you just haven't used it yet. So here's your chance. And you're going to do it first with making banners for your own files, whether, let's look at some examples here. I'm going to go to our site so you all can see this. And this is an example of a Google site with all our resources. And I did put that into our chat, but let me copy this link again for those of you who joined late, because you didn't get that link, but it was also in our email invitation for class. So this being a Google site, I have customized the banners. So every page in my Google site has a unique banner. So I was able to personalize it a little bit. And so I'm just clicking through these menu items so you can see that there are different banners. Other ways that you can use Google Drawings. On that site, there is actually an interactive magnetic poetry. And so I used it in my September class as an icebreaker. And so if anybody's really good at multitasking and you want to play with this, then you can click and drag a word. Just do one word and then see what other people drag. And we're going to try and build. But I got this from that home page of our Google site. And if you're not comfortable with trying to jump out of our conversation and then go play with this, that's okay. It's still accessible after our class. So the collaborative magnetic poetry is what you can click on. It opens up this Google drawing. So Drawings is going to have all these very handy tools like drawing applications, and Google Slides has a lot of these. And what we can do is make pretty much any size worksheet or document or interactive page that we want. So I'm seeing you guys pulling some words on there. We'll see if they make any sense. But this is a drag and drop activity. So I'm going to move where I can show you a few other examples, and then you guys are going to get started with your own banners. So Eric Kurtz, our neighboring tech integration specialist, he is our Google guru for Ohio, and he has a lot of templates, and I'm going to give you guys access to his examples. And this is one. He's given instructions on to the right, what you would do. And then this is just an arrow tool used out of Google Drawings. And somebody can grab here on the rotate icon and change the time. And so this is something you can use as an instructor, or students can do on their Chromebooks. So let's look at another one. This is another one of his examples where it's a sandwich chart. So if we are remote and we're trying to complete this, I can type inside of shapes. So these are flowchart shapes that he simply has colored so they fit the sandwich chart. So we have our bun, our lettuce, our meat. Well, no, that's cheese, and then meat and a bottom bun. So, and I know my screen refresh might take a little time to catch up with me. There it is. So a sandwich chart. is another use. So these are interactive things you can do later after you get comfortable with just building some banners. And so Google Drawings, let's talk about those banners. On our website also for this class, you'll see that I've provided a resource from Jocelyn Buckington. She has this great site, Do More with Google Drawings. There are other templates. This is from Sarah Kiefer. She's in the Cincinnati area. And then down below, this animated GIF goes really fast, but it's going to show you how somebody could be in a Google document, grab a Google drawing, you can insert it, make it, and then it becomes part of that document and it's interactive. So again, this is more than, you could probably just visit this site and work on this for the rest of the summer. But without further ado, let's get to our banners. We need to know that you have to start with a certain file and size. So the size must be at least 800 pixels by 200 pixels. So you can't just go get a teeny tiny little thumbnail or clip art to make a full-size banner that would stretch. Because we have to think of the different screens. Does somebody have a large screen computer, or are they viewing this on a phone? So these will adapt to the device. Also, the types of files supported will be a JPEG, a PNG, but not this SVG. And if you've never heard of that, you don't have to worry about it. And then when you're in Google Classroom posting a banner or on a Google form, and it's not an exact fit, an exact match, it will let you have the option to move up or down, because often our photographs, they're a little bit more rectangular than this long, thin slice. So they're taller, but it'll let you slide it around. Google Sites now, that's going to let you also choose from your computer, the same as a classroom or Google Form banner would. And then you can also, it doesn't have a required minimum size. So think about it though, it's going to force fit your banner. So be careful with that. It might stretch something. If it's too low quality, it'll get really grainy. And then files that are supported are the same as the others. And they also have this neat feature that will adjust for readability. And I'll show you guys what that looks like. So there are the banner specs you need to know. And the rest of this resource site was just taking you to some of those folders I talked about with examples. So diagrams using Google Drawings, draggables. I have math templates. I also have another folder for high school. So that one can be accessed as well. And if you're wondering, well, where do I get images? I need an image for my banner. How do I get started? Certainly your own photographs work. You can go out and find images, and these are ones that I like to use with educators. Photos for class. I like to use Pics for Learning. And then I'll show you this little gadget here, this remove background tool as well. There is a whole site here that talks about 18 others, but I picked my top 2 and 1 tool to share with you guys. So this is all part of our resource site today. So if you were going to start your own banner, where do you go? So this is the point where if you want to exit full screen and follow along, you can. If following is just way too hectic, don't worry. This is going to get recorded so you can watch that over again and then follow. I'm heading to my Google Drive. So in Google Drive, you have the good old New button, right? So it's up there at the top left of your screen. And when you click on New, you're going to have the option, it drops down to show you more. And when I click on More, I have a list of additional applications that are hidden. They're not the top 3, but Google Drawings is right there in that list, and it's at the top. So I happen to be in this shared folder. I'm okay with that. This is the folder that I have my site linked to. And this is what an untitled drawing starts to look like. The checkerboard background is telling you that that would be a transparent space. So depending if we export this out, that transparency might turn into something solid, depends on the image type. So I might start here first with my title. Better work on banner. And I want to point out, if you want to resize the image, it's as easy as going to the bottom right corner, and there are little lines, almost like a handle you can grab. So when you go to the bottom right corner and grab, you can pull that up, and that will let you resize your banner. So if I do that, it's now maybe a more appropriate shape, but I'm not sure I'm going to meet that 800 by 200 standard. So I'm going to go to File, and down in the list, there'll be a choice for Page Setup. So that's File, and it's really far down the list, and it's Page Setup. So you have choices. Because I already have resized, it went to custom. It said, hey, she's not picking one of the standard ones it started with. And in custom, I don't have to measure in inches. I don't want to have to convert pixels to inches, and I don't have to. They give me the choice to do pixels. So quiz time. If you remember that default size, the bare minimum that a banner needs to be, type it in the chat. We'll see who was awake. Okay, Alicia is first out the gate. Jan, Caitlin, Julie, awesome. All right, good job, Leah and Elise. And you can keep typing them. I mean, by you typing that, that'll help reinforce and remind you what that amount was. So this looks way bigger than I need to be, but I'll go with that 900. I just want to see what happens. And if I do, 300, I know that's big, but I wanted to show you guys that if I was cropping and had that tool in Google Classroom or on my form, I'm going to go even bigger here. Now, my banner isn't the standard size. That's okay. The next thing I would do is get something for the background. In the Insert menu, you can go to Image, and you can search the web. So it's going to offer to you searches for images that, even though it says here, only select images that you have confirmed, you have the license to use. The nice thing about Google's image search through this is going to offer pretty much images that have permission, and it's a safe place. Instead of just going out and opening a second tab, adding your images this way will be better for you, or use one of those websites I suggested to you. So wall and floor background, let's see. All right, so a lot of people are starting to build these virtual classrooms, and I'm gonna clear out my participants' responses. Has anybody in this group created a virtual classroom? Maybe you have little Bitmoji characters on it and it has a background. And if you can put yes in our participants panel, if any of you have tried those out, they got real popular. Michelle Morrow, yep. Okay, Sandra, you have, cool deal. So you could even, and Melissa, great. You guys can make your banner kind of look like that little virtual classroom. So you can kind of make a set. So I'm going to grab one here. And I'm picking one that has, on purpose, a floor. And I'm going to click Insert. Now it didn't fit into my proportions. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so I can see the edges of my paper here. That really didn't do what I wanted. Let me choose this zoom. There we go. And I did that just so I can see the edges of my canvas. And that's what I'm calling that checkerboard background space. Now, if I stretch this image, you can hold down your shift key and that will let you stretch it proportionately. Because sometimes people, and actually I'm not holding my shift and this one is allowing me to be proportionate. And so great, I've got it to fit on my sides, but now it's way too tall on the top and on the bottom. So I know it's gonna get chopped off on the top and bottom. But if I simply want to double click on my image or use the crop tool here at the top, the crop icon is in the toolbar, then I can crop down from the top, crop up from the bottom, and I'm pretty happy with that. And I'll even check. And I'm moving it so I can see that background just a tad. Looks like that's a better fit. So now I have my image background and I want to point out the different banner types. So if I go to Google Classroom to show you banners, and maybe you didn't notice this before, but you can visit back to your own Google Classroom dashboard and you're going to see this happen, that a lot of the images for their banners are off to the right. So let me go into this class. So if I was to pick a theme from Google Classroom, then all of their image, look at that, off to the right, these grad caps off to the right, computer, and they leave their left very plain. Wonder why? Well, that's where your title of your Google Classroom appears. That's where your class code appears, as well if you turned on the Google Meet link. So if you make a banner, in my example I started right there, oops, not that one, this one. That tree is technically going to interfere. So I could try and flip it. Let's see if I can rotate. I could flip that horizontally. And look at that. So I got that tree out of my way if I was using this for Google Classroom. So keep that in mind. And if I look at a form, that banner is safe. Nothing goes on top of a Google Form banner. So no problems there. I just grabbed one of their stock images by clicking the palette up here, and all the theme options will let me pick an image. So good to go for forms. You can clutter up your banner as much as you like. And then a Google site, the text is going to go on top of the banner. So I try to keep the center of my screen clear, but Sites is the one and only that has this special ability to kind of lighten up, and it's an auto feature. And I'll show you here. So I'm going to exit the preview of our site. And in this banner on Sites, in the right corner, it says remove the readability adjustment. That's what they call it. And so this one didn't make a big difference. But if I went to, let's try this one, banners, and I turned off that readability adjustment, yikes. Now it's hard for me to read because this text is black and that black border on my little scroll-like banner interfere. So keep in mind, if you're making this for classroom or for sites, where the best place to align your little objects if you do any more personalization to your banner. Now I'm going to stop right there and ask if we have any questions. And if anybody wants to chime in, you can unmute your mic.
So I have a large banner I keep playing with, and it's of the ocean and the sand and the sky. It's pretty big, but what I'm asking is, when you went to Google Classroom, how do I plug that banner into, so it's my choice of banner, and not the ones they give, because I'm getting kind of bored with those. Do I have to set this to a certain size?
Well, and what size did you pick when you went to File, Page Setup, Lisa? Did you pick 800 by 200 or something else?
Let me look. Oh, it's 10.04 by 2.17.
Okay, so that is going to definitely crop off some of the top and some of the bottom.
Yeah.
And you know, this is good practice. In a little bit, we're going to save this one and go try to insert it into Classroom. And that way you'll see, you'll always have the original drawing. So you can come back and change it if you have to.
Oh, but what do you recommend, like, would be a good size?
I would say I'd stick with that 800 by 200. And that way you know what you're making doesn't get cut off. But I purposely made mine a little bigger so I could show you guys. Because this is it. I could say I'm done. I don't have to do anything more to this if I don't want to.
Well, when I make it that size, I don't really see the ocean anymore.
See, that's the tough part, finding the right picture that's going to fit into that slender sliver, and you've got it. Yeah, it's a little tough.
Okay.
You'll have to try another picture. Or you can move it up. Since this photo is just a layer on top of that invisible background, you can adjust and slide your photo around.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So let's say I'm close. I got a background, or I could have just made a solid shape. So in Google Drawings, there's all types of shapes here. And I could pick out, oh, I don't know, one of these little bubbles. I have arrows, oh, call outs, yes. So I could do a little talk bubble, and I can, you know, I don't know, do I want the bush to be talking or the tree? And it lets you move this. But how about this? We want to be more personal, right? So any of you who use Bitmojis, you can grab them. I happen to have the Bitmoji Chrome extension, so it's easy for me to grab that. So this one looks good here, this little me who's running. And I don't have to go save this or do any extra work other than right click and I can copy the image, because Google Drawings is going to let me right click and then I can paste. So it could look like I'm running in, and now instead of this little plant talking, I could be talking. And this already came in with a transparent background, but not all images that you want will. So the tool, I talked about a tool here. It's in the resource website. You find it under where I have images. This is Remove BG. And so when I click there, I can try out one of their practice images, or I can upload one. So I'm going to upload, and let's see, I have on my desktop a folder of some photos. And let me grab this little, maybe I, like certain pets, I have certain hobbies, and I want to make that virtual banner, that virtual classroom banner look a certain way. But I don't want all the square white background or messy background that came with that picture. So look at that. It was easy as uploading, and bang, their tool does the job. Here's the original, and it does the lassoing and it detects exactly what I need. So I could hit download and it'll download to my computer. So now that I've trimmed that, and if you want to see that again, here are some of their examples. So here's a little picture. Let's see the original, a little dog. And you wonder too, because sometimes like that tan ground and this tan paw, that could be really tricky to accurately get removed, but it does a great job. So that's the Remove Background tool. So that way objects I bring into my drawing look like they belong there. So let's go grab that now. I have Insert, and I'll go get Image. And that went from my Downloads folder. Let's see if we got that just now. And I need to see today, here it is. It's a PNG file. So that's something to consider. And that might be why I can't grab that one. Because I was going to grab that newly clipped image. Let me do another one real quick. Remove the background. I want to upload something else from that photos folder. Here's our work logo. So maybe it's something for school, your mascot. And then I remove the background and I'm going to hit download. This one, again, as a PNG. So when I open it, it looks good.
Rebecca, where actually are you? I'm a little lost of where you went to even put these images in.
Okay, sorry about that. So I went to the, are you talking about when I was removing the background or when I was here in Google Drawings?
To remove the background.
Okay, so that website, I'm going to show you here our the web resource site. Image sources is at the top right of our resources. And the website is called Remove BG. And so when I go to that website, it's going to open up a new tab. And then it says, all right, do you have something to upload? And if you don't, you can practice with one of their examples at the bottom. So I did have something. I had a file. And then this is the part where you yourself would have to already have a photo or clip art or something saved. So I don't know if I lost you sooner, you know, getting to the website, or even I lost you here. And I happen to already have some pictures ready. So you would grab a photo or grab an image from your own computer that you would upload to their website. And it's only going to accept certain certain image types. I see here, it won't take a GIF, a GIF file. That one's dimmed out. So the last one I just did was our office logo. So maybe you would grab your school mascot, something like that. And then you have a download option. What it does, it then downloads to your computer in your downloads folder. Now, how are you feeling now, Kelly? She's okay, all right. And you don't have to go out and do anything with this background removal. This is kind of frosting on the cake, if you want to think of it that way. Because really, as you're building a banner, just putting in a background image that maybe resembles or represents you more is enough. You get too much in your banner, you're gonna probably, you know, make the kids' eyes go cross just because it's cluttered up too much. So what I happened to have was that document, that image, it did download, and I see here that it is a PNG file. Now, I'm gonna cheat here. I'm gonna copy that image, and then I'm gonna come in here and I'm going to paste it. So there we go. So that looks a little nicer. It has my background. It doesn't look like it has a white border around it. And so all I'm doing is resizing to make that fit. So this is my banner. And if this was for a Google site, it would be a very poorly planned banner. And I want to ask you all, why would this be a bad banner for a Google site? And if anybody has an opinion, you can unmute your mic or you could type it in our chat. Very nice. Caitlin has answered us. She's right. We see that the banner text on a site would overlap with my image because I put my little Bitmoji and my little call out and my office logo all smack in the middle, right where a Google site banner would have the text. Yep, images in the middle where the words would be. Good job, you guys. Then this banner would be better for what? We have two other choices. So if you want to type in our chat or just think to yourself, we were talking about two other applications. Okay, thanks, Melissa. She says Google Classroom. We have another one. Yeah, all right, Brooke's on it. So Google Forms. And Caitlin, she said she'd comment both of those. So I could go crazy. Yeah.
This might be really dumb. You can't do any of this kind of stuff in Remind, can you?
If you're using Remind, I don't know if your own Remind site is going to have a landing page like this. And my use of the Remind application as a participant, I'm not really seeing banners. So I'd have to double check on that.
You can go, I don't even remember, but can you go to, in Remind, are you able to go to the internet?
You can, yeah. If you have somebody going to the full web version, that's what I would have to check. If in the web version, and I don't know how many people, parents and students who are consuming your Remind messages, if they are doing that. They're probably accessing your Remind notices on your phone, on their phones.
Oh, hey, also on this banner with the ocean and stuff, I have a text box, but for the life of me, I've been trying to figure out how to type in it.
Okay, so if you have a text box, so here in my banner, I'm going to, in Google Drawings, I can click on text box. Just tapping once, it's going to generate just a standard size text box, and I can grab any of the handles to resize it and move it around by grabbing the border, double tap, click 2 times, Lisa, to get in there. So
You mean click 2 times in the box?
Yeah, in that blue bordered transparent box. Did that work for you?
No, it's still not letting me write.
Okay.
Because I mean, I thought it was this little crayon looking thing, but that's a border color. And then even when I click twice, I can't write in it.
Okay, and you're sure it's a text box, that not another shape?
I did it the way you did. I went through insert text box.
Okay, I'm very surprised. All right.
Yeah, okay.
Just gotta find the sweet spot maybe to click inside there.
Okay.
So I will assume this banner is done. And before I do that though, let me answer some questions I see in the chat. So Caitlin, she makes a suggestion maybe? Maybe there's a way to make a custom icon for your class. Oh yeah, absolutely. If you're wanting to make buttons, and then you can use those buttons in a Google Slides presentation. And so those icons could be used and almost be like the student is clicking on the math application or yeah, custom icons. You are right. I don't think it was really a question, Caitlin, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Kind of sounded more like a suggestion, a good one.
I was just responding to Lisa about her comment for Remind, that they have those auto-generated icons, but there might be a way to upload a custom image into Remind so that you can make it work for your class type.
Okay, thank you. Now, and Johnny, maybe I missed if you had asked how to flip, but she says she found out how to flip it. Great. And Kendra, Lisa, maybe a suggestion for you from Kendra. Are you sure your font is a color you can see? Or I want to point out, now that I have multiple objects in here, these actually are layers. We don't have a nice little tool that shows us this, but I wonder, Lisa, if I have my text box selected and I right click, I can change the order. So if I send this to the back and I happen, see now I can't even click it, but I thought maybe that had happened to you. Sometimes it's also hard to grab things if they overlap. So I'm
Oh,
gonna
it's right on top, like I already have the background and then the text came right in, I'm moving it around,
okay.
but then it's like, sometimes when I click, it goes away, the box,
Okay.
but the double click, I still can't write in it, but.
Yeah, I have had experience where, see this Bitmoji, even though it's a small picture, its borders extend way out beyond here. And so if I was trying to grab another object, sometimes that interferes. This time it's not, but I will say this, teachers, if you're gonna make an interactive assignment for your students in Google Drawings, that will drive them crazy if those borders are too big. So that's where I would come up and crop. And even though it's invisible, I would try to crop this in as tight as I could in case I'm having an activity that's a drag and drop. That way objects don't interfere with each other too badly because of the order. And you're going to want to be sure that if you're building a scene like this one, if it's for a banner, you're great because everything's going to get glued to the banner in the next step and nobody's going to manipulate it. But if you're going to go farther and make Google Drawings a tool for some interactive assignments, got to make sure you put the things the students need to manipulate at the very topmost layer so they can grab them. So here's my crummy looking banner I've designed. And if I want to use it now in Google Classroom, on a form, or on a Google site, then I go up to the File menu, and then I head down to Download. And I have choices. The two that I would recommend you use would be PNG and JPEG. And JPEG is certainly fine. Both are going to work everywhere you go. And that was downloaded to my computer. So if I am in Google Classroom in one of my courses, to change my banner, I go over to the top right and click Select Theme. I don't want one of their suggestions, so I can go to Other, and, or have I missed it? Where did I miss where we upload our own banners? My fault. Ah, dear, they've separated it. My fault, guys. So not Select Theme, click Upload Photo. It's right there, right under my nose. So now I would go pick a photo that I have just worked on. So look in my downloads. This is wonderful that today my downloads are not displaying how I would normally, because in today, I should have new items listed. And they are not showing. And I just did a JPEG. Oh, I hate when they don't display what you're after. I'm going to cheat and drag and drop. So I have my banner. I'm going to drag it here. There we go. So when Lisa was asking, what's the size should I set my drawing to? Do 800 by 200, and then you wouldn't have to worry about any cropping. And look at me, I went big, and I did that on purpose so you could see. And I'm gonna have a problem. I'm gonna lose something. I'm gonna lose either my logo, it will let me stretch some. So if you don't come in and dabble and add all these little bits like the Bitmoji or the call out bubble or the text, and you just have a background, you're probably okay with cutting off some of it. But if you notice, if there was nothing more than just the wall and the floor, I'm definitely gonna lose something with this type of image. I'm gonna either lose the floor and keep the little tree, or I'm gonna keep the floor and, you know, have a stick coming out of a pot instead of an actual plant. So I have to find a happy place where I think it'll work, and then I make that my new class theme. And so it will fit. Not too bad over here on the left. I want you guys to notice something, or I'm going to ask you, do you see something different about my photo than the original? I'll go to the original. Okay, make that bigger. Has nothing to do with the cropping. And then I'm going to go back to Google Classroom. Ah, you're on it. Boy, you must be eating great things for your lunch because it's giving you brain power. Yeah, Rick's right. It's darker. Brooke says it's not as bright. It changed the colors and it's not as clear, right? So keep that in mind. It might have detected that this was I'm going to use a fancy word. It's a high key image, meaning there was a lot of white. And so to compensate, it darkened it down for me. So play with that, see how it works. If I'm in a Google form and I'm going to choose an image, so how would you do that? Here's my survey, and up here I would customize. I click on the palette in a Google form. I click choose image, and here it has upload. So it's part of the same window, and then I would drag and drop that right into that space. Same deal. I have to decide where's the best place to crop that because I made my drawing too big. But the good thing is, in a Google form, it's going to display the whole banner and not have any text over top of it. So it doesn't have to darken it or change the tint or make it smoky looking, as Kendra comments. So there we go. That's what it would look like in a form. Now, I'd absolutely not use this banner on a site. That would be disastrous because I have too much in the middle. But I already have another banner I can show you that I made up yesterday. So here, this is pretty plain for a banner. In Google Sites, and some of you might be taking that Lunch and Learn, the Google Sites topic, you'll maybe work on a banner that you could put in while you're in that class. I can change image and upload. Now this one's asking me to go out, which I have been struggling with, but luckily that was from yesterday. So on my desktop, I already have that. I think I do. Let's see. If not, there we go. It was in my downloads after all. And down here in the corner, these little stars, they were just twinkling a little bit, and they have applied the readability adjustment on my banner. And I had this computer monitor. I knew it was going to be in the center on a site, so I let that be right there. But keep in mind, a Google site has more text. It has your site title. It might have your navigation menus at the top. So you're going to probably want to keep your top edge pretty clutter-free and light as well. I'm going to stop again, and we're getting close to the end of class. Are there any questions? All right, so Lisa's going to stay on after and share her screen because we need to find out why she can't get that text box. So some of those resources like Do More with Google Drawings, check those out. Google Drawings isn't just for banners or just for artwork, and I hardly touched many tools. You can do interactive activities, so they have a lot of suggestions here at this site. I like that she has templates. And so they're broken out by subject. We have pretty much our core subjects here, and some general use as well. And even one here was a who am I activity. So maybe for the fall, you can launch your beginning of school year with your students with a who am I. Now this one was meant for teachers, but use these, adapt them, and make them your own. And I wanted to use this one to show you guys, you don't have to stay on the canvas. These objects off to the left and off to the right, they are all just sitting out here. The canvas space is actually this blue and orange area. You could put your instructions off to the side. You can have your manipulatives. I've put math counters out there on the sides. And let's see what else I still have open. All right, so that's a banner. The clock we already looked at. Sandwich chart we looked at. And this was the banner I made up that I just used on my Google site. And that's the template site I was just showing you. And our remove background tool. So if you want access to what I've collected over the years, I'm going to paste this link right into our chat. It's a folder. Most of these are from Eric Kurtz, but I have added a few extras, and you have access to the resources and other templates in our site resource. Now, I am at an end there. Any other questions? And I'm going to end our recording.